Okay. All right. So I'm here with Norma and Emily. Thank you so much for joining me, guys.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having us.
us.
Of course. All right, let's get right into the questions. So you guys can choose who answers first. Don't matter to me. But yeah, all right. So question one, what made you want to play football at a high level?
Um, I can go. I think I've always realized that I've been a little different from the people around me, like the girls in college that I've played with, and I've always known that I had this talent. And I'm not saying it's just about talent, it's much more than just talent. I've always recognized that about myself. And in college, I think that's when I really changed my mindset, and I learned so much. I had a not so good experience in college, but it was beneficial. It was necessary for me to find that feeling of I do want to play higher. I do. It made me realize a lot, and I think that negative college experience was very beneficial to me to now realize that I have the potential and the capabilities to actually play, at a higher level.
Oh, I love that you turned what could have been like a career ending type experience. A lot of people, when they don't enjoy, especially college level, they're like, yep, nope, I'm good. Higher levels have to be worse. But I really like that you took the mindset of spinning it into a positive and understanding that you deserve better and higher and that your skills are not stifled just because the experience didn't serve you. So I'm really proud of you for putting a positive spin because a lot of people really do like that's it. They don't like college football and they're like, get a job. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you didn't think that way because it's true, y'all. The talent, it's real. Okay. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying, I'm a little
Mm-hmm.
braggy about y'all. But anyway, okay. Norma,
Aw.
your turn.
Okay, so I never even planned on playing college soccer. Like, did not plan, and then it just kind of happened my last month of high school. And so I played JUCO, whatever, and we kind of had a similar experience. Like we played at the
Mm-hmm.
same schools, like we're very like two peas in a pod type of thing. So we kind of had the same experience, and like at one point I didn't even think I was good enough to play college soccer. Like, yeah, like I was just so like out of it, I guess, and I just didn't think I could even play. So, and then I kind of turned like the same situation into like, oh, like I want to keep doing this. I feel like I still have like something to give in the soccer world, football world. So like it's what I love to do. And like my mom always told me, like, hey, do whatever makes you happy. And even if it doesn't, obviously we're not doing this for the money, we're doing it because we love it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So kind of like the same situation, pretty
Oh,
much.
that's
Mm-hmm.
dope. I love a good supportive parent that's like, listen, if it makes you happy, do it. Because I mean, you can even see like watching you guys play was so refreshing because you can see you guys are the type of players that play with heart. Like it's a different type of skill that comes out when you're playing because it's deep in you and not just something you happen to be good at. Like it's yes, you're good at it and y'all are good, they're good. Okay. But also it's just you can see when players have grown up with the sport and through it and when it's become a part of like their soul, it's a place for them to escape, it's a place for them to go to, and when you realize it's enough of a love to want to go higher, it ignites something in you where it's like regardless of my experience with it, I'm meant to play this sport and I'm gonna find a way to get on the pitch. So I'm really glad that you guys pushed through a not so positive college experience because I can only imagine the amount of talent that is sitting at home because their college experience didn't serve them. But you guys were like, not me. I'm too
Yeah, yeah,
good.
That's
yeah.
literally like how it is.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Mhm.
All right. Question two. So I'll start with Emily again. We'll just keep the same order. So, what's your soccer background? So, like previous levels, starting from when you was like a little one all the way until now.
So I started playing at the age of 6. I played rec. Um, after rec, we did move. It wasn't the biggest club. I do have some experience with like the clubs here, like FC Dallas. I played one season with them. I couldn't adjust, so I went back to my lower rec team, and we then played competitive, classic league. And after that, I played high school, and after high school, I always knew I was gonna play, but I think my standard was very low for some reason, and I don't know. I just wasn't looking to play, but then I just ended up, I'm not gonna I ended up playing JUCO for 2 years, and which I loved. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I'm not trying to talk down on JUCO. I love JUCO. And then after JUCO, I played at A&M Texarkana for 2 years, and then after that, I played, well, currently playing semi-pro here.
Okay. Wow, so many teams. It's so people don't understand like how many teams you can hop through in your
Mhm.
lifetime, and finding a team that you can stick with is super hard.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I'm glad that you were able to go back to a team that made you feel comfortable. So,
Yeah.
although the level or the environment may not always be the level that you're at, the comfortable part is really important. So, I'm glad you had something to always go back to because it's better than not having anything.
I
So,
think that,
that's
correct.
good. All right, Normal.
Okay, so I started playing when I was 3, tiny. Yeah, yeah, I started playing when I was 3, and I started at rec. Like, I don't even know. I feel like my mom was like, "Oh, do you want to go play like soccer?" Okay, you know. And then I moved to club when I think I was like maybe like 9 or 10, and then kind of hopped around from different clubs here locally, like in more independent clubs. And then I started high school, played varsity all 4 years, and then I did 1 year of JUCO soccer, and then I moved to my 3 years at A&M, same school, A&M Texarkana. And then currently same team,
Yeah.
same team, UPSLW and PASL.
That's you
So
better shout out
basically
them teams.
semi-pro. Yeah, semi-pro, indoor and outdoor.
Oh, indoor semi-pro. It's something I never did. I never did indoor at like a particularly serious level. I did it with a bunch of friends from high school that like half of them would show up drunk to the games. So it was never really like a competitive thing. It was more just we all played growing up together, and then we decided we wanted to keep playing for fun as adults. But what's it like? And you guys can both answer your own perspective, but what's it like playing semi-pro at an indoor style?
I like it, because I get to play, but I prefer outdoor 100%.
Me too.
But it's just fun. Like, it works on your skills. It's more, you have to be more skillful to play indoors. So
Mhm.
so definitely, like, I like it, but prefer 11v11 100%.
Yeah, me too. It's just more of subs like every couple minutes.
You get tired,
You
you get
get
gas
tired.
more like
Yeah.
quicker for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, considering our training sessions indoor during the combine, I was
Yeah.
like, well, can we take a minute? But that explains why you guys excelled so well in those training sessions and you were so much more comfortable because you guys are used to playing in that environment. So okay, the pieces are coming together because you guys were super comfortable in that like tight knit indoor environment where for players like me, I'm just like, look, put me outside, please. Like I need the big field, I need the space
Mhm.
because I mean, technical, I'm working on it, but it's not my specialty. I ain't
Mhm.
garbage, but it definitely like y'all's levels of technical ability and also your tactical skills translating from indoor to outdoor were super impressive as well because going from such a small space to being able to translate those types of trick passes and seeing the vision that other people don't see doing it on a big field. You guys did a really good job of just being able to analyze the field as well because in indoor it's like this, like you don't have time on the ball like you do outside. So I think that gave you guys a really good advantage, and I mean it's going to continue to because you guys have a different like speed reactive than everybody else on the ball. So I
Thank
mean
you.
it's true, I'm just saying. All right, question 3. So how did you hear about the combine?
So I heard about it through Norma.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea about the combine. I think after she mentioned the Instagram ad, I think that's when it started to pop up on my phone. You know, it just pops up on my phone. I know it's kind of so I heard about it through Norma.
Okay, so Norma, you found out about it through Instagram then.
Yeah, I was just scrolling on Instagram one day, as one does, and it said soccer women's combine or whatever, and I was like, okay, that's interesting, but I ignored it. I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't know, kind of like I was like, what if this is a scam? So I just ignored it, but it kept popping up. And then I was like, okay, like maybe so I clicked on it and I saw that it was in January, like towards the end of January. Did we find out? Like,
I think in December, late December, or was it?
I don't even know, but we found out like, no, it was like November.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it was like November. And then I was like, okay, like, because usually like when I see stuff like that, it's like next week type of thing.
Right.
So yeah, so it was like good timing. And I was like, okay, let me apply, upload my video, whatever. And I did not expect like anything. I didn't expect anything to come from it, like I don't know, but yeah, through Instagram ad. So the ads work.
Ads work. I think that's so crazy because I feel like if I was in your shoes and I saw an Instagram ad for something like that, I'd have the same reaction of like, yeah, all right, next. But God really said, hello. Hello, I'm trying to tell you about something. You keep scrolling. How many times have to put it in it? So then God was like, all right, fine, I'll put it on Emily's Instagram since you want to ignore somebody. But I really, I really love that.
And it was funny because I was in Idaho at the time visiting like family, and I had to set a reminder because they put like what is it, like a deadline like to submit your information. So I had to like set a reminder, like so I wouldn't forget. If not, I probably would have forgotten. We wouldn't be here right now.
I know, that's crazy how
that works. Let's see, technology. There's good sides.
Yeah.
There's good sides. Reminders and Instagram ads. That's clearly the message here. All right. Next question. So, what were you expecting from the combine versus the actual reality of experiencing it?
So I kind of went in not expecting anything. Eh, I've never done anything like the combine. I just expected to play. I didn't expect anything. And so I just knew it was gonna be like soccer, football. So I didn't expect anything. But I had a really great time. Like it set the bar very high for any future combines that I'd go to. Yeah.
Good. Awesome. That's oh. I'm glad that the reality of it was a positive one because going into it with no expectation and then having a positive one is really, really nice. So it's good to hear that you enjoyed yourself because let me tell you, we were nervous that you guys were gonna get like bored or we weren't gonna know how to react to things. So I'm glad that you had a good experience. So Norma, how about you? What were your expectations versus the reality of the experience?
Kind of the same thing. We like talked about it. We're like, what's it gonna be like? Like we just kind of had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. So like we were like, what if this is a scam? And then we talked to like Flo and Danny, and like, it obviously wasn't, but kind of didn't have expectations at all. So it was kind of like free to like fulfill my expectations. But I mean overall, like my reality, it was great. Like 12, like 100 out of like 10. Like
Yeah,
I loved it.
I loved
like we
it
still
too.
talk about it to this day. Like we're like, oh my god, remember this and this, or like, we saw Kat and like how she signed, and we were like, that's so cool. Like, there were bumps, of course. There's always room for improvement, but overall, like it was great. It was great experience for sure.
Awesome. And obviously I'm happy that you guys came because now we talk and I love it and I miss you guys. Okay. Anyway, back to the interview. So obviously you said that it met your expectations, but in what specific football and like social ways did it meet your expectations? Like, do you feel fulfilled in terms of the training sessions? Do you feel that you got your money's worth of the type of experience? So you can answer Emily, Norma.
The football, I'd say that It was good. I really enjoyed both of the games and even the trainings, having to train. Um, and I know I just one of the things that I kind of left that I wanted to experience was practicing on a full field. But obviously the snow, we can't control that. I think Flo and Danny really did a great, amazing job in adjusting the practices, finding somewhere to practice, giving us that rest. I did want to practice, maybe shots before the game, but it's okay. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like I start whenever we were warming up and we were like doing shooting or whatever, I was like
I felt so
I was
like,
kind of like felt off. I was like
yeah,
I
I
need
felt
to
a
like
little off too.
yeah, but I mean, we worked with what we had. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, other than that, like it was good.
It was good, yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad that it could because I mean, especially, I mean, coming from first of all, coming from Texas and then showing up in some snow is kind of like
Yeah.
Well,
really.
we came back to snow, so
Yeah, we
it's like we
did.
never left.
We
It's
So
can
true.
ice,
to ice,
like
yeah.
ice,
Like the
snow.
day we landed, we were lucky our flight didn't get delayed because we landed and it took us like an hour to get home because the roads were so icy. Like it's like we never left over there. So
Yeah.
I remember dropping you guys off the airport. First of all, trying not to cry, dropping you guys off at the airport. And then when you guys, we were messaging and you're like, yeah, we're lucky we even made it home because we thought our flight was going to get delayed. And I was like, oh, nah, please tell me that this dropped snow in Texas because the only time I have experienced Texas for football was an ECNL like tournament. And
okay.
when I tell y'all flurries, like I cannot express to you how not snow this snow was. And Texas was like, we don't know what to do. So they canceled the whole
Yeah.
tournament. Like we didn't play a game. I went to
Oh
Texas,
my
I missed
God.
school, everything, and we did not play a game because it flurried. So it was so crazy to
Flurry.
like to have you guys go back to like a legitimate ice storm when
Mhm.
the only experience I've ever known of in Texas was snow was just like and they were like, mm-mm. So like I can only imagine how freaked out the entire state was to have weather like that.
Yeah.
Everything was shut down. Like
Yeah.
we shut every time. This happens once a year. So you think this we'd learn our lesson, right? But no, everything shuts down, like businesses, everything's closed. Yeah.
Yeah. Just because of
Just because of the ice, yeah.
Now, see, Texas really said we don't do this. It's
yeah.
enough for us. Okay, next question. So, Emily, what was your favorite part of the combine? And it doesn't have to be football related, it can be social, or you can give an example of both. But, like, what was your favorite part of the combine?
Well, I was thinking about it, and I had there was it was just so many parts that I really enjoyed. I think one of them was the fact that we all came from different places and we just bonded like if we knew each other. I really, really enjoyed that. I appreciated everybody being so welcoming. And we're girls. After a few days, girls sometimes we need our own space, but we lasted a long time with that like tight bond. And even on the pitch, like we played great for us. Even that first day, I was like, oh man, like it was really good.
Hopped off that first
Yeah.
training session.
And that was one of my favorite experiences. And the second one was actually playing against the teams. Like I really, really enjoyed that. I took notes, I learned so much. And that's honestly a really great experience that I can say, oh, I played against Bayern Leverkusen girls. It's I think those two were like my highlights of the combine.
I love that. And I think the playing part, especially, no one can take that from you. Like,
Mhm.
regardless of how many bumps we hit and the unexpected that happened, you still got to put your cleats on, get on the pitch, and play against a team who has, I think we played their second team, right? We didn't actually play their
I think it was
top
a
team.
second team,
Okay.
yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
regardless, those
Yeah,
women are playing on the second team to be moved up to the top team. So really we played potentially the next level of football for that club.
Yeah.
And shoot, in my opinion, we held our own. Like it really could have
Hmm.
been a slaughter, and
Yeah.
we did well. I mean, I'm still convinced another week and maybe two more players to add to our
Yeah.
roster, and it would
Hmm.
have been. Oh, I think we really could have put a hurt on some teams.
I think so too.
And
Yeah.
considering the fact that we didn't even train outside 11v11,
Yeah,
not once,
not
like
once. Hmm.
that's crazy to me.
It's great. All right, Norma, and for you, what were your favorite part?
I think my favorite part, obviously, like everything was so fun, but experiencing my first European game, that was like
Mm.
like we've been to soccer games here, but it just doesn't compare. It was so fun and just like everybody's passion for the game, like you can feel it in the stadium. So that was really cool. And I think also like same thing playing against like these like high level teams, like highly respected teams, that was like like something that nobody can take away from me, and just leaving Germany and knowing I left my mark there, it's like it's cool, it's like really cool to me.
That's awesome. And I'm glad that you mentioned the game because that's something that okay, because y'all know I didn't know what my role was supposed to be when I joined this thing. I was just kind of like, hey, I'm American and I'm here to kind of help. But then when they were like, oh, by the way, we're going to a men's game, I was like, word. So when we went in there and all of us were like little kids, we walked in like, bruh, no way. And then you guys got to experience the very typical German foods from the snack stands and just having like this long wiener in a bun that's this big. It'll forever bother me. I don't understand the ratio. Anyway, but then also us being able to be front row is
That
super.
was
Yeah.
Like we were
so.
there on camera. Someone's mom saw us.
Like we're like 5 goals that day. I don't know. We saw
I think we saw
like
a lot
Ryan,
of goals.
like that's
Yeah,
so
that was
cool.
really cool.
We saw. Look, we was lucky. Very, very blessed experience. I'm really glad that that was one of your top experiences because it's a very rare thing. I mean, even for Germans going to high level football, sometimes the tickets go too fast or they're too expensive, or so for us to be able to go, especially like fresh after touring the women's side of that club as well, it's like that was just a very full day of football, which was a really cool experience.
Mhm.
Um, all right, so I got a little bit of a different lineup of questions for y'all, because we kind of all have this little understanding about what it means to be different going into spaces like European countries and playing football. So for you guys, what did you feel being women of color going into a very, very white space? How did you feel that your kind of impression, we can call it that, affected your experience of something like this? Like, do you feel that it builds your profession differently, Emily?
Yeah, you want to go?
Well, you were going first, so.
Um, I think, yeah, and I've always, growing up Hispanic, with so my father, quick story, my father, he's just your typical Mexican dad. And I've always been next to my father, and he's experienced a lot of, racism, and I've always been the one, and he has an accent, so I've always been the one to kind of defend him. And so me going in, being Mexican American, I feel very proud actually. And I feel proud, and for others to see me not be your typical like American, I think that makes me unique, and it makes me want to, I guess, it just makes me want to work harder, want to outwork those typical, those around me. And it's more of a motivation to me because I really take pride um in my
Culture.
culture and being Mexican. I'm really proud of that, and that's something that I can't explain the passion that I have for that.
That's awesome. That's dope. And for you, Norma, how do you feel that it impacts your time to go through the hurdles of making it to higher level?
I feel like it was eye-opening, definitely, like to, because there's just like just white people, like just like everywhere. And we live here in Dallas, and like it's very diverse here. You'll see Black people, Indian people, like just all types of people. So just going into that space, I was like, oh, like I'm Hispanic. I don't belong here. Like football wise, I belong here, but physically, like I stand out. Like it's just true. But I mean, I feel like growing up, even I didn't like grow up going to the best clubs or whatever, but regardless of that fact, like I know like I can do it regardless. Like it like same thing that you said, it makes you like want to push harder and just prove that just because we didn't have all these opportunities growing up or we didn't play like at a D1 NCAA school, like we can still do this.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I think that for all y'all watching, listening, we had a little moment for like what was it, like 2-3 hours in the room at the
Yeah.
combine, and we were talking. We were standing. First of all, we were standing, guys. I still don't know why we didn't sit.
Right.
We were standing for like 2.5 hours. It was past midnight. We had to get up for breakfast the next day, but time didn't even feel real. We were just connecting, and we all had a moment where we were sitting there looking at each other. We were like, y'all, we're here. We are in Europe. We're in Germany, very white country, and we are Black and brown women showing what we got. That it for us, we don't look like y'all. We never gonna look like Europeans. We just that's not for reasons because that's not where our people are from. But also just from the fact of opportunity doesn't come around for us like it does for white people. And I think it's something that for the longest time, I know me personally, I felt kind of shadowed. Like I felt like I should be not ashamed, but it was always something I felt like I needed to prove just because I was different. Like I have to prove myself because I'm Black in these white spaces and I have to prove to them that I'm good enough. And then I realized it's not about proving it. It's just about it's a fact that
Mhm.
we are good enough to play at a higher level. And it doesn't matter what you think about me when you look at me. Watch what I do with the ball. Watch what I do on that
Yeah.
field. And I think that you guys, when I saw you guys in the room and we were having pizza, I was like, oh God, melanin. And like, not even in a way like no shade towards any of the other women in the combine at all, because it's never about us versus them type of thing. But it's
Mhm.
impossible to not have that moment of feeling
Yeah,
like,
of course.
all right, someone
Mhm.
else who understands. Because even there was moments where when I heard you guys speaking Spanish for the first time, like more out in the open, I think I even said something to you at one of the trainings. I was like, I love hearing y'all speak Spanish because
Uh-huh.
it just feels like there's always this underlying expectation that we're supposed to stifle our backgrounds. We're supposed to speak correct. We're supposed to speak the other language. And when do they take the time to learn our language? When do they ever take the moment to understand from our perspective? And that's answer is almost never. So for me, I wanted to hear you guys speak Spanish more. I wanted y'all to speak Spanish on the field. I was like, put your heritage on the pitch. Like, let people know that there is room for other. I don't think we're other, but to them we are.
Mhm.
Mhm.
There's room for other in these high competitive levels of football. And it's interesting because you think about like Hispanic background, you think about Africa, you think about Spain, you think about Italy, you think about Italy's white, you think about like Mexico and all those places where they ain't white, but football is life. Like you culturally growing up, football is huge. And I mean, you think about like I went to Brazil one time and every sports plays basketball, volleyball was a football field. They made football everywhere. And it's just something where culturally for Hispanics and for Blacks and for brown and, dark skinned folks, football has been just that sport that I have found historically doing a lot of research. It's like a home for us. And so it just felt like super refreshing to see you guys there and seeing that you guys got the opportunity to prove that this isn't just a white space. The sport is not for any color, it's not for any background or any country. It's a sport for everyone. But it's about damn time that
Mhm.
women that are Black and brown get the same opportunities to be able to show that we deserve to be here because y'all deserve to be here. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that you have the skills and the potential to play at a higher level. And I'm really, really glad that you came here and you took a chance to do it because I think that race for them is not a thought other than when they see something different. Then they think about race, but they don't ever have to go. I feel like we are always thinking about it. Like we always have to think about, do we fit? Will we be accepted? Are we going to be judged? Are we dismissed before we even show anything because
Yeah.
we're different?
Mhm.
And I think that you guys did a really, really good job of just showing what you got. And I think we're really, really lucky with the group we had because no one made anything weird. Like there was no like
Yeah.
clickiness. Like everyone obviously like got closer to some people. Like some people became closer friends. That's just we're human beings. It's going to happen. But I never felt like there was a split, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
typically happens where it's like the white people usually hang with the white people and black and
Yeah.
brown folks sit together. But it was
Yeah.
very much every meal. We all sat together, we all talked together. When we did games and activities, we all hung out and everyone equally paid attention to each other. And but the underlying connection that I feel like that I had with you guys is just something so special. And it just felt really nice because I've been going through this entire preseason, my season starting and being the only black girl on the team. And then for you guys to come around, I was like, oh, yes. Here we go. We got some girls of color up in here. So I just wanted to pick your brains a little bit about what opportunities like this mean for you guys being women of color and coming into a space that like I mean I know you probably stepped off that plane and was like white like white. Did you outside the field though, like when we were just like walking around or even in the sports school, because the sports school was very diverse because it's like it was I don't know if you guys know, it's like the practice grounds for the Olympic sports.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So like they had more diverse because it's the Olympics, so every country area. But did you guys ever feel when we were like shopping or going around, did you feel that you were being looked at as other? I don't think I ever asked you guys if you ever felt different in like the normal parts of it.
I think we did talk about that once, and we're like, do people think like, what do
Yeah,
people
I
think about
think
us?
we like thought about it. We're like we walked into like I don't know, like a store or whatever, and that like little part of the what was it?
So,
The little like strip section, like
Oh, where we
mhm.
went shopping in like the
yeah,
city?
yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
the TK Maxx or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like, oh, like I wonder where like because I look different. I obviously look different. I'm like, I wonder where like they think we're from. And I think we asked Danny. Did we ask Danny? I don't know. We asked somebody, and they're like, oh, they probably think you're Turkish because apparently like there's a lot of Turkish people around. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But and
Mhm.
you know, like, but I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I just remember that one time we mentioned it, and I do remember getting looked at a lot. And but I mean, it's normal. I mean,
Yeah,
it's something that I'm used to. Is we're different. We
yeah,
get
yeah.
looked at, so it's
But I
something
mean, I
that.
never felt like somebody was gonna come at me and like like in a
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
way for sure. I don't think I ever felt like that, but we obviously look different, so we're gonna get looked at.
Looks,
So
yeah.
I think it's so interesting that you guys answered in such like a yeah, we're used to it, which is so messed up that like none of us should be used to that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
being
it is.
looked at like we're in a zoo, like, oh yeah, I'm used to people looking at me like I don't belong. But it's true, and
no,
it's
yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
and it's something that the
Mm-hmm.
other girls didn't have to think about because they were probably like, oh, they're probably from Norway or they're from, the Netherlands or something. Like they looked at them and didn't even think twice about like, oh, they're not from Europe, but they're probably from around here. And
Mm-hmm.
for us walking through, they're definitely their first instinct is always like, where are they from? What
Mm-hmm.
language do they speak? And so it's interesting that, I'm glad that you guys picked up on it because it's always good to be aware of your surroundings when you guys do continue to explore options of where you're going to go. It is really important to be aware of the social climate of where you're going. I
Mm-hmm.
think that that's something a little piece of advice I can give, depending on the cultural background of the country you're going to, look into it because I mean that's a big for me. That's a big deterrent of me ever playing in Spain, just because of the rampant racism towards Black people in Spain. And that's
Mhm.
something that the other girls don't have to ever think about when they pick
Mhm.
a country. They can just pick a country, not saying that they can just like go wherever they want, but when they're thinking about their future, they're never worrying about, am I going to be discriminated against? Is somebody going to not give me an opportunity just because I look different? Or are the people in the city when I go grocery shopping, are they going to treat me differently? Are they going to assume I'm stealing something? Are they going to hear me speaking a different language and then assume that I'm talking about them because it's automatically a threat when they hear something different?
Mhm.
Like that's something that you guys have to really consider when you look to branch out of, leaving a really diverse place like Dallas. So, little just piece of advice,
Thank
really do
you.
your research on the social climate at the time of where you're going, because it is going to be different for you. And I hope that you're somewhere close to me where if something ever pops off, you can always come to me and we can just regroup, because I will catch a flight for y'all. I'm telling you right now, anybody messes with you, you let me know. I got family in a lot of places. I will come and I will. Okay, it's not a threat to anybody. I'm just saying, don't mess with my people. All right. So next question. Do you feel opportunities like this can change the game for women's football overseas, like more combines being done?
Oh yeah. Yeah, back to kind of what we mentioned. Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for somebody that doesn't look, you know, like your average to go and, like sign over there and maybe that team will want more players that, like that. So I think it's a really good opportunity. And not even for, us Hispanics, like even other just any other brown colored people is I think it's an amazing opportunity because there's not many opportunities like this. So why not take advantage of what's and I think overall women's combines are starting to be more popular because I didn't know. I mean, I don't know if I just didn't know about it, but I didn't start learning about this until like what, maybe last year. It's new to me, but I'm also seeing more and more of just women in general, opportunities for women. So I'm very glad for that.
Me too. Me too. All right. Norma, how about you? Do you feel opportunities like this can be a game changer for women's football?
100%. Yes. I feel like it means that we get to, show that, coming on, like, speaking for myself, coming not from big clubs and stuff, like it can show, like, just because I didn't play like at like the top academy here, like it doesn't mean that I can't do it myself. If I got the talent and I can work hard, why not? That's something that like I want to prove to myself. Like, we played at a D1 and NAIA school, which is comparable to like a D2 NCAA school. Like I want to show that like to myself that like just because I come from a smaller school doesn't mean that I can't work hard and get wherever I want to be. So
Absolutely.
100%, I feel like it's a great opportunity and it's gonna keep, hopefully, I hope like one day like this will get big, and like I'll be like, I was a part of that,
We
like
were the
the
first
first one
ones.
to be a
Yeah.
part of that. So
Yeah.
like I just feel like if Danny, Flo, you like y'all continue and like it can grow to something really good and really big and really help people like us, get that opportunity and not go like we were talking to an agent a couple months ago charging us like an arm and a leg and like and now we've built these connections with you guys and Danny and Flo and y'all have the best interest for us, and you can just feel how
You can
genuine
feel
you
it.
can feel
Yeah.
how genuine you guys are and that you guys want to help us and not just take our money.
Yeah, no, ain't no, because taking your money is so criminal and we don't make enough for people to be coming for our bank accounts, because please, I'm just trying to buy groceries. Don't don't be taking the little that I got. But I'm glad that you guys think this is something good. And I mean, you being a part of the first one, moving forward, any combines that happen from here on out, I mean, automatic invitation back. And we're doing some work. I can't be speaking about business, but we're doing some work to try and make it so that the women who were part of the first one have kind of a first come, first serve type of like, you'll find out the next one, you'll get the information, and we're hoping to find ways to make it more financially viable for you guys to do it again so that you can come back out and continue opportunities to do things like this. Because if you bought into the very first draft of it, there's no reason why you shouldn't have the first seat in the next one. That's my opinion. I'm very biased and I'm going to continue to push that. But that's just the influence that I hope I can have to make sure that the women who bought into it continue to have the availability to keep their dreams alive, because everyone's got a different timeline. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about the long time it took me to get here. And if I can save y'all 5 years of your life and a couple stints of a low bank account, I will definitely do my best to make sure that your journey goes a bit more straight than mine did. So, all right, next question. So, how do you feel that the combine experience compares to like showcases at home?
I think it's obviously different. With showcases, it's more of you go with your team, and if, from my experience, we were the only like Hispanic team, and so we would just go, and if we weren't winning or anything, nobody would look at us, no, especially because we were Hispanic. Versus over here, you kind of it's individual, but it's with a group. I don't know. I feel like it just has more opportunity versus what is it called? Not the combine, but
The showcases.
the showcases. Yeah, I think it's more opportunity. I don't know. I just think it's just way more opportunity versus a showcase.
Yeah. What do you think, Norma?
Kind of the same thing. I feel like, I've never been to what is it?
Showcase?
No, and is it college showcases or is it like the pro type? Which one are you referring to?
I mean, any level, because like when they do like the invitation level for pro teams, I don't think they call them showcases. I think they more call them like tryouts. But then you have like showcases with your club, and then you've got like the combine that we did.
Yeah, I feel like the combine is more like helpful in getting an opportunity because I went to college showcases and it's like, okay, you go play and you're done, or like that's pretty much it. Versus the combine, you're getting more like feedback, you're getting more exposure to a top level versus like just college here. So I think the combine
I think
is
it's
more helpful and I prefer it. Also, not just because like if I went to a tryout here, the style of play doesn't really match what I prefer. Like here, it's more physical and like about being strong and super fast. Like I'm not a super fast player. I'm more like technical. So I feel like overseas would just match my preference better.
I agree.
And also, now thinking about it, like the ratio, because whenever we would go to college showcases, none of us would. From what I remember, none of us got an invite to a college or anything. Versus over here, it was what, 9 of us. And lucky enough, one, two got to get. They got more information, cats playing, like that's really good. And I think like the ratio, like you have more, like Norma said, you have more exposure to direct clubs versus
I think too that with the way that the timing of the showcase for you guys in terms of the window, I think that's also a big difference of the showcases around signing windows. And I mean, there's like signing times for college, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is there really a time that you can't sign with a school? Like when school starts, you can almost sign whenever, right? Because I feel like they're like in America, they don't have like windows that you can.
Like strict. I mean, usually it's like summer or like spring is when like you go but I mean technically if you're free, like a free agent type of thing, you can go whenever.
Yeah.
You can
Right?
go to school, you can
I think
talk to them whenever. Because I remember having girls at our college like go visit like year round. Mostly more in the spring because we didn't have games or anything, but like you can go whenever.
That's what I thought. And that's another thing that is a big difference with this of the coaches are also, I mean, when Kat was telling me like she had 2 weeks to just like quit her job, get her finances together. So she was at work, like working, and they emailed her and were like, yeah, so we're gonna need you to catch a flight tomorrow. And like that's something that is completely different where when you're trying to go to a showcase and you're trying to commit to college, it's like months and like your parents are involved and it's like the school's talking to your parents and then your club is also involved. So there's like a lot of hands involved in trying to help you with showcases, but with these combines, it's like the teams are there and they're kind of like, all right, we got 2 weeks left in this window and we only have enough money for like half of a girl, but we want obviously we need a whole person. So let's try and make it work. And so that's like also the big difference of they're usually looking for one specific position or
Yeah.
maybe two. And or sometimes the position opens up right after the window closed. So like, I mean, as you guys know, like sicknesses happen, injuries happen, knock on wood, like anything can happen. And sometimes the spot comes up when the window closes. And so you're probably on their list. And it's like, well, it's February, the window's closed. We can't even bring them over if we wanted to, or depending on how you play. So if you played for a certain level in the States, I don't know if you guys know this. So if you play for a certain level in the States, there has to be a certain amount of time that you don't play for anyone for you to be able to sign outside the training window.
Oh,
So, yeah, right. So that's stuff that they don't tell you. So if you're playing, and I'm gonna look into it. Also, let me send me the information of who you play for, and so I can look into the levels and stuff like that. Because for teams to want you outside of the summer and winter windows,
mm-hmm.
sometimes you have to be completely free from a team for a certain amount of time if they want to sign you, say, right now in March, right? The window is closed for Europe. Technically, you guys couldn't sign. But
Mm-hmm.
if you have gone a certain amount of time without playing for a team at a certain level, they could still sign you. So I think you guys playing semi-pro, you guys might be confined to the window. So that's something that's also important to know where if you're looking for a certain place,
Mhm.
not that you want to ever take 6 months off of playing, but it's something to consider. Maybe you go down to just intramural level, lower level, so you're still keeping your touches sharp, but you're not decreasing the amount of time that you have to sign to a team. So that's something else to
Oh
consider.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll look into that for you guys as well because it just like hit me when I was talking to Kat because that was something she had to worry about. They asked when was the last time she played a game with her team because her signing with a certain level, she wouldn't have been able to sign if she was still actively playing. I think she needed to go a certain like what was it like 5 months or 4 months or something like that without playing for them so that they
Mm-hmm.
could sign her after the window because she signed after the window. She signed what a week ago, but the window closed maybe a week or so after you guys left. So that's something else that is good to consider that you'll find out in a combine rather a showcase. So
Yeah.
that in mind, I'm gonna keep y'all
Thank
updated on
you.
that
Yeah.
information.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course, you kidding? That's what I'm here for. That's the point. That's the whole thing. So that's something else to consider as well of when you're looking to want to go to some teams, make sure that you're not hindering yourself by obviously I never call playing semi-pro holding back your career, but
Yeah.
if you want to play pro overseas and you have the block of signing windows, that's something that they don't tell you because why would they tell women's soccer that? Why would they
Mm.
tell us things? All right, next question. So, oh, yeah. So what would you prefer? So this is a bit of a like what would you prefer, an overseas combine like we did, or a guaranteed invited trial opportunity with a pro team in the States? Obviously, not a guarantee you'll make the team, but like you get invited to a professional level team's tryout or a showcase. What would you prefer?
You're gonna go.
Overseas, like combine or like
Yeah, like exactly what we did, like an
okay,
overseas
that's what we
combine
did.
where subs come, or like a one-time invited tryout with an American pro team.
I don't know what's going on. That's a good
No.
question. That's a good question.
It's a
I think me personally, I think I would prefer the overseas showcase just because like again, I like just the style of play is just they focus on strength and like how fast you are, and I'm a small girl, so
Be small.
also I think I prefer the overseas, just like that experience, and like I like my mom asked me, she's like, would you move there? Like, would you move to Germany? And I was like, oh yeah, like 100%. Like I would move to Germany to like somewhere in Europe. Obviously, like I'd go look at it first, but like 100% because it creates just a new environment, a new like exposure to other cultures, to other people, to other experiences. And it's just like it's something that I really want to like, help me grow, not only like in soccer, football, but like just as a person, you know? Mm-hmm.
All right,
Um,
and
I think there's pros and cons to both. Um, I think the combine was a really great experience and like we said, great exposure. I've never really like researched pro tryouts, but that's more like individual. You kind of got to show out. And like Norma said, we're small. And if it's here in the States, it's like, it's like
And like to the sorry, but
no, go ahead.
to those like the pro tryouts here or whatever, they invite like hundreds of girls. I mean, or
Mm-hmm.
like I've heard, I know I've never been to them, but they invite like a lot of people. So,
how you pick
that
a roster of like 30 people out of hundreds? There's no way you can like give a fair.
everybody, yeah. So, that's just some what I've heard from like different people that I've talked to. Of course, there's probably exceptions to that, but if you're inviting like hundreds of people, like 100 people, 100 girls, like how are you gonna look at everybody in 2 days? Like, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. Like, that's why like one of my coaches would tell me like, hey, like coach is gonna look at you, better do something good in those 5 seconds that they're looking at you, like
No
so
pressure.
yeah, it's like, what if you take like just a bad touch and that's all they see and that's all they
Yeah.
remember of you? That just, I don't know, that just makes it harder.
Somebody told me that they went to like this tryout and the coach would look at the way you stand and tell you if you were good on I think it was stand or sit or something
Just the
like
way
that.
you look,
Just the way you look, I'm like, I'm being judged. Like you're being judged.
But that kind
um,
of be
look at
football.
the way I look. I'm not big. I'm like tiny. Then
yeah, and I mean, I think I would also prefer the combine because even just the experience was just.
it was just more personal,
Mhm.
like more of a personal, like you guys actually cared and wanted like the best for us, and like you guys made sure we were comfortable. Like I don't know how many times I changed my shorts with Flo or whatever because I got the wrong size or whatever. So I don't know. It just felt more personal for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, hundreds of girls. I mean, you think about just trying out for a normal team, right? Like, or like you sign to college. Let's use that example, and you go to your preseason and you're trying to make the starting 11. Just thinking of having to make into the first 11 spots out of what maximum 30 girls, let
Mhm.
alone trying to make it onto a roster of maybe 23 out of hundreds of women. And then they're supposed to make us believe that it's not political or money influenced or who you know.
Exactly.
Come on.
Like what 150 for minimum for the tryout.
the
It's like
tryout.
just to go and like, and you got to pay for your flight if it's not locally. It's like, you know,
Yeah.
And they get you, they're like, you're not paying for the tryouts. Like, well, I paid for everything else. So unless I get a contract out of this, yeah, I basically paid y'all. So, and it's a weird thing of it's almost like bring your talent here and we get to tell you if we think you're good enough. And then if you're not, like for some people, like because we've talked about this, you got to be strong for this type of lifestyle. You have to have confidence, you have to stay true to yourself. And imagine your first time being vulnerable with a tryout and they tell you because of the way you stand you're not good enough to play. I've been like, well then do I go to standing lessons? Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. That's such a crazy thing to do. Oh my god. Oh, ain't no way the men go through that, but that's a whole nother topic. All right,
yeah.
so last question, absolute last question. So, would you recommend the combine experience to a friend, a teammate, to somebody on the street? Is this something that you would recommend to others?
Yes.
I think we both have the same answer for that. 1,000% yes. If you're committed and you want that lifestyle, then 100%. Because it takes it, you have to have tough skin and you have to work hard and you just have to excel and do well. So, but I mean, if you're up for it, then like mentally, I think it's a mental thing for sure too. So if you're up for it mentally, then yes.
The mental side is who child. the mental side is something else, especially when you think about like in the episode that I did about talking about the combine, I did some research on my own because I was trying to figure out, is there even competition for the combine in Europe? I was trying to figure out if we had other people we would fight against, gotta stake it out. Y'all, they ain't nothing. Like I really looked. So the only other women's only combine that I found Europe or states wise was in Vermont. Turns out Kat went to that. She said it was garbage, actual garbage. She said it wasn't worth it. And then I found two more in Germany, and they're mixed with boys and men, and they're a minimum a month. Could you
What?
guys imagine dropping a month of your life minimum to come to a combine?
No,
That's
that's
no,
like
that's
we have lives over here, we have
yeah.
family,
We got bills to pay.
we got
Like,
stuff to pay. Like,
yeah,
drop. Like,
yeah,
I'll leave here, all my stuff's evicted because of the time I spent over
Mhm.
there. Like, no, that just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Already like the 10 days we were over there, that was kind of like we came back, we're like, oh, we were gone for like a while, like it
Yeah.
kind of pushes it too.
It does. It absolutely pushes it. And that's something that I'm really happy that we found a good amount of time, like 10 days. A little bit longer would have been, I would say, in terms of football, just because of weather, probably would have been perfect. But when you think about the reality of y'all have stuff to go back home to, any longer of 10 days, like you go home thinking, like, Lord, my bills, my family, my cat, my dog, my mama, my dad. You think about all those
Literally.
things. And then when I was researching and I saw minimum a month, I was like, y'all are on drugs. There is no way you can expect a non-European person or even just a non-German person to come here. One of them was as long as 5 months.
What?
So I'm like, so you're an academy. You're not a combine. That's not a trial thing. Like you are an academy and people are living there because what you mean 5 months? That's
That's
insane.
crazy. That's like, unless you have like mom and dad to pay for all that, then like,
Yeah.
and a lot of us don't. So it's like, that's crazy.
That's
Like, that's when you
insane.
ask for that commitment.
It
And
look,
not even guarantee me, like, I don't know. That's
Not,
like, at that point, you need to guarantee me a contract for me to go over there for that long.
the one place didn't even guarantee game time. It was like there will be no guarantee of you being able to play in games in front of the coaches. Why am I here then?
yeah.
That's
That's crazy.
crazy.
So to think about what we did in the combine in just 10 days of two games and the weather jacked some stuff up, but I couldn't imagine you guys coming all the way here to try and impress these coaches based off of trainings alone and not playing a game. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'd be pissed if I went all the way to Germany, 5,000 miles or however long it was, and not play a
Not
single
play.
minute. I'd be like,
That would.
no, y'all would have been knocking on my door. Nah, Pinky, no, no, no. We need refunds and we need to talk because this is too much. No. So I'm really glad that the combine is something that you guys felt was worth it and you'd recommend. And in the future, your names are definitely on the list to be called back for opportunities like this. And we're hoping, like I said, to upgrade it to a place where it's financially viable because inflation is real, everything is costing more and more money. And once we can get now that we've done the trial round, we know how to do it better. And so I'm really hoping that I can help to make it better and see you guys again and keep you guys your name in the cycle, because that's also something I'm gonna just brag on y'all for a minute in this clip. So that's also something I want to really point out about Emily and Norma is that post the combine, you were probably the most mature and realistic about how this process works and about understanding that it's not always about immediate results. And I think it's because you have the unique perspective of we're normally overlooked. And so for you guys, it was almost kind of like, it's not always going to be the first time, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to be my time. And I think that as somebody who was kind of a like coach slash player, it really makes our job so much easier to work with people like you because we know that you understand reality and that there's a fine line between demanding your worth and understanding that you deserve a contract and nothing will change that. And you have every right to be like, you can find me something, but also knowing that it may not be the same timeline as everybody else. And not everyone understands that. And not everybody has the grace of understanding that Yes, it happened for Kat very quickly, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen for you. You know what I mean? And so I just have to give a lot of kudos and credit to you guys to say that it's players like you that make combines worth it. It's players like you that are going to make women's professional football really thrive, because there's a certain level of professionalism and realism, but also just respect for yourself. It's a really good meld of all of those things that I think you guys have of, you know, your worth and you know that you guys are talented. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that you're going to be playing in Europe somewhere, whatever country it is, y'all going to be kicking a ball. I know it. I know you will be. I've been around to enough countries and teams. I know enough players playing in other countries where I'm like, y'all could be playing. Like I've seen some levels where I'm like, y'all could be doing that and better. So I mean, I think that your futures are extremely bright. This combine is not the last that Europe will be seeing of you guys. And it may not even be Europe, it could be Middle East. Like, I mean, women's football is really developing anywhere, and you guys have such open minds and you have beautiful hearts. And before I start crying, I'm gonna stop bragging about y'all. But I just wanted to let you know that I really, really feel so blessed to have met you guys. And I'm so excited for what you're going to do with women's football, because it's not even close to the end for your careers. And I'm excited to see what comes of it. So thank you so much for believing in us, in the combine, and yourselves. Thank you for coming on to my podcast with me. It means the absolute world to finally make this happen and see your faces and talk with you. So yeah, I really appreciate your time.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Pinky.
Pinky.
We really
Yes.
appreciate, Danny, Flo, and especially you. You really, I think you were one of the ones that kind of really put everybody together and just made sure that
When you
they
walked in that day, we were eating pizza. I didn't know. You made us laugh so much. I was like, "Who is this girl? Why? Like, she's so funny.
Why is she so
Like, why is she
funny?
so funny? Like, everything you said was just so funny." And it like you were kind of like our icebreaker. Like,
Yeah.
like it was kind of like whenever you first meet somebody, we were playing like the card games or whatever, and you're like, "Oh," but like you just made
You
it
just
like
made
everything
everybody
like
just, it was
yeah.
just, we do appreciate everything
Yes.
you did, and, everything that you continue to do for us, this podcast, for everybody, not only us, but for everybody. And
Mhm.
thank you, Pinky.
Of
Appreciate it.
course. It's seriously, it's players like you that made me want to coach, that made me want to keep playing. And I hope to continue to have teammates like you guys too, because I mean, knowing you for what, 10 days and playing with you, and you guys inspired me to work harder on my foot skills. Like it was something where I felt like it's not only white women that can have good foot skills. Like it was like it was like being like, we're good too. We're just as technical. We have the same abilities. We just don't look like y'all. And so you guys do just as much inspiring. And I'm going to make sure that all the black and brown little girls and women watch this and listen to your voices, because you should be heard and you will be seen. And so I look forward to everything that you guys have in store. So again, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you guys. And I can't wait to see you again. I don't care when or where. We're gonna
Yeah.
make it happen. I mean, we've got WhatsApp, we'll be talking and checking in, but
Mhm.
hoping to see you face to face and spending more time with you guys for sure.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pinky.
Pinky.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
Us too.